Ooh, now that's... Hello everybody, Thomas here, and today we're going to be working on this engine. It's an engine out of a Ford Escape. It's just an inline 4, and it's been damaged or blown. So we're going to start by disassembling it and seeing what actually happened to this engine. So yeah, so let's get right into it. Okie doke, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by making sure that the oil is totally drained from the engine. So I'm just going to tilt it forward, and then I'm going to open it up and use this bottle I got to try and catch any extra engine oil. So here we go. Here we go. Oh, it's leaking something. Anyways, there we go. Then we'll just... it's leaking a bit of coolant everywhere. Open this up and make sure that we got all the oil out of it. It looks like it's pretty empty though. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty empty. So I think what we're going to do in order to disassemble this guy is we're going to go and we will take the valve cover off and have a look underneath at the head and stuff like that, and then we'll take the heads off and see what the pistons look like on top there, and then after we'll flip it over and take the oil pan off and take the pistons out and see what the crankshaft looks like. So here we go. So we'll just start by taking off this and this, just simple, easy stuff. And then all these bolts that have already been undone from the valve, from the head, or from the valve cover before, I'll take those out, and then we'll take the valve cover off and put it to the side. There we go. So there we are. We got the valve cover off. We'll put this off to the side over here. So we can look here at the camshafts and stuff and see if there's any big issues with them. So, we can... I don't know, I'm not really seeing much. You can see it some, it looks like there's a little bit of metal particles and stuff, particulate matter on some of the lobes. But I don't think that matters too much. You can see there's a timing chain and the timing sprockets. And these cams would come out. This is the variable valve timing cam, so you can change the timing of the engine. And then this on the front here is the valve cover, along with the crank pulley and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the crank pulley or not, but I can turn the engine a little. So yeah, so there's the crank pulley and the valve cover. So yeah, you can clearly see it's pretty clean, so there must have been some sort of internal failure or something with the engine. You can also see, if you look through on either side into the intake and exhaust holes, especially on the intake here. Let me show the intake side. I don't know, it's pretty hard to see down there, but let me take the camera here. But you can see onto the valves down there, which is pretty neat, I guess. Pretty cool. Again, you don't really see much. So, yeah, so we'll leave that for now. And I'll flip it over. We'll start by taking off the oil pan. So there's a couple of these 10 mils left inside the oil pan, so we're just going to blast them out, and then we will see what's underneath. We're just gonna flip this over because apparently it's gonna attach the... Ooh, now that's... I'm sure, as you can see here, if you look inside here, you can see all these metal fragments. That's not supposed to be... There's not supposed to be metal dust inside the engine. That's clearly not very good. So I guess we'll have to try and figure out where all that metal dust came from. So I guess we'll start here with whatever this... I'm not 100% sure what that is yet, but I'll disassemble it and figure it out. So yes, so clearly something is, definitely gone wrong with this engine. It's got a significant amount of metal dust and and shit inside of it. It's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be clean on the inside. So I'll start disassembling this piece to figure it out. Alrighty, so now I'm going to start by taking the oil pickup tube off the oil pump, and then I'm going to take the 4 14 mil bolts off this thing and remove it. So we'll start with the oil pump here. Alrighty, so here we are. We got the 4 bolts out. Let's see if it comes off. Oh, it does. What have we got here? This is some sort of gear-related thing, which spins. There's a gear under here, a helical gear, and it spins these two guys here. And it's spun by this, which is mounted to the crankshaft, if I'm not mistaken. So presumably that this is some sort of timed device that requires the timing of the crankshaft in order for it to work. So I'm just going to take this and put it off to the side for now as well. I'll do some more research on it. These, which I believe are the main bearings for the crankshaft. So we got 1, 2, 3. This is a 5 bearing crankshaft. We got the oil pump over here. And it looks like the way these main bearings are made is they're all one piece, so they all go together. And then there's probably some sort of torque spec related to this where you have to torque down each of the bolts in a sequence in order for all the crank bearings to seat properly and not like go all wacky and blow up or whatever. Anything majorly damaged, nothing that's super like, oh yeah, that's really obvious. The whole thing's blown up because of that. So I'm just gonna keep working on it and seeing if I can find something that will give me some telltale signs that I know what happened. So next, I think we're gonna maybe next we'll take off the timing cover and see if there's anything under there that we could get at. And I think we'll have to remove the crank pulley for that though, so I guess we'll see. So yeah, actually maybe I will. Yes, I think I'll take off the timing cover. So yeah, so I guess we'll start doing that now. So what's it look like? We got a bunch of bolts all around the outside, and then we're gonna have to take off the crank pulley, which I think is like a 24 or something. And yeah. Alrighty, so here we are, and I've just cracked the crank pulley. So what I did in order to crack the crank pulley is I put a hammer inside the engine. It's really quite a simple trick, but I just cracked the pulley by just putting a hammer in the engine and spinning it till the hammer got stuck in the engine. So now there's a mallet stuck in my engine. But in order to fix this issue, I can just turn the engine, and well, bam, our mallet's falling right out of the engine. Yeah, if you have a mallet that's very precious to you, I wouldn't recommend using it, especially because it leaves a big mark in the handle and a couple other damages. But I mean, for this engine, it's kind of a blown engine. It's got an issue like that. I think it's safe to use a mallet. So there we go. It's cracked, and we're ready to take it off. Yeah, so here's the crank pulley. We'll take the bolt out. Quite a solid looking bolt. And then we can just pop the crank pulley right off. Look at that, easy as cake. And we'll just put this off to the side for now. We can use it for something later, probably. There we go. One crank pulley. Alrighty, so next is the rest of the timing cover. So, as you can see, kind of on the front of the engine here. Let me just tilt the camera down. We got another variety of bolts to take out. Looks like we got some 8 mils. Yep, bunch of 8 mils. We'll start with those ones, the quickest. Oh well. So we'll put these bolts off to the side here in this super handy, useful storage container, which I don't have. There we go, perfect. And then Oh, shoot. Whoops. Anyways. Let me just adjust this so it doesn't roll away again. There we go. There we go. We're locked up. Safe to drive. Next is just these 4. Oh, there's one more bolt I missed actually. One more 8mm. I'll put that over there. And next is the 4 big bolts. 4 big bolts. These feel like 13mm, so I'll grab a 13mm socket and we'll start disassembling. So we got it. Now let me take them off. So we got one. So there we go. All of our 4 13mm gone. Now the timing cover should be able to just come right off without any issue. Or maybe it's still stuck somewhere. I don't think it is. Let me have a look here. I think we just have to pry it off with a bit of extra force. So here we go. Let's give it a couple of taps with this lovely mallet. Maybe that's not quite how it goes. I thought it would come off quite easily. Let me flip it up and see what's what. Let's start by taking this off. I will start just by letting it chill there for now. There we go. Pins out. We'll spin her around. 3, 2, 1, let's jam. Okay, this thing's pretty heavy. It's also only hanging by 3 things. Don't worry guys, if the engine falls on the ground and crushes the stand, it'll be fine. There, flipped up and ready to rock. Well, let's have a look here. Are any bolts holding it at the top here? No, I don't see any. I suspect that just needs a little application of some prying force, which this hammer handle will be great for. Good thing I happen to have this. Okay, not great for that. Never mind. Let me find something that's actually good at prying. Well, remember everybody, you're not actually supposed to pry with screwdrivers, but we do it anyways. So just don't ever do this, except whenever you have to do it. Alrighty. There we go. Just needs a little bit more prying force. Let me just get this split up here. Where's the line in that one? Yeah, we just have to get all the silicone off. Whoop. Excellent catch, if I do say so myself. Here we are, we got this timing cover off. It's a nice piece of aluminum or something, and we'll put this off to the side. Alrighty, let's have a look at the timing here. So, this is our crankshaft, this is our timing, they're camshaft pulleys, or camshaft gears. This is our oil pump gear. This is our timing chain tensioner, our adjustable one. This is our timing chain guide that goes along the side, and this is our oil chain tensioner / guide. Yeah, from what I can see here, I don't see anything that's really blown up in here. It just looks pretty normal. So anyways, I think we'll start by taking off the timing chain tensioner, and then we'll take off the timing guides. Taking off the tensioner will release the tension, and then we can easily take the chain off and remove the camshaft. I'm not too worried about keeping the engine in time with this particular one, because it's already obviously been blown up, as you can tell by the metal fragments and stuff, and I'm just disassembling it just to see what the actual issue was. Yeah, I think that's what we'll start with. So those timing chain guides look like it's another 8mm. There we go, one tensioner bolt, and that's the second tensioner bolt. See how it immediately unsprung? I hope you can see that in the camera, but it immediately unsprung, so now we can just push it in and pop it right off. And then actually, if we wanted to reset this timing thing, we could put this little rod through this hole here after we press it down, and that will hold it in place for reassembly. So I'll put this off to the side, and then this chain guide here just comes off. It's just a slide fit, and it's off. So now that the chain isn't tensioned anymore, we'll take off the other guide. It will just come off. Another 2 8mm bolts. Looks like I didn't get it all the way out. Oh, I did. Oh, it just got stuck on the silicone. Easy as cake. So the timing chain guides are off, and now we can just take the whole timing chain off. Now, as you can see, here we have the timing chain. So to everybody, it just looks like a regular chain, right? This is a silent chain. So it goes into the teeth and actually is a significantly quieter style of chain. But see this black chain link right here? This is the timing link. So this provides us so we know where to put this link when we're reassembling the engine for proper retiming so that we don't blow up the engine. So I'll take this chain and these guides and I'll put them off to the side for now. So there we go. So next I'll take off the oil pump timing chain, or the oil pump chain. It's not a timed sort of thing. Looks like it's just another 8mm. There we go, one 8mm. And then I'll take off this second 8mm, which has the tensioning part of it mounted. This is just a simple spring tensioner thing. This bolt, it pushes down, and that's how it works. It's just a simple tensioner. So this bolt goes up here, and you push this up, and that's how it presses down on the chain. Put this off to the side, and we can take this little tensioner chain off. There we go, or this little guy off. Again, here's another small chain. This one has two, what look to be different colored timing links on it, but you don't really need to time the oil pump, unless you do for some specific reason, which I do not know, but it's just kind of interesting that those two black links are there. Put this off to the side. Here we are, take off these gears. These are the gears that mount up to the timing pulley, to the crank pulley and to the crank, and so this is how the chains are linked, of course. And so we can take this off and put it to the side. What have we got here? We've got the oil pump, which is mounted up. We could take that off if we wanted to. We've got the crankshaft, which we could take off now if we wanted to, or we could take the camshafts out, and then we could take the head off, which I kind of want to do actually. So I think the first thing we'll do is we will remove the spark plugs because they're still in the top here. So here we go. You should really always try and have a universal on the spark plugs, just in case you don't want to like bend the ratchet some way and then now your ratchet's broken, or not your ratchet, sorry, your spark plug breaks. So here we go, we got the spark plugs out of the engine. These have a bit of extra kind of carbon buildup on them, but aside from that, they look like they've just been through pretty normal operation. And so I'll put these off to the side now. So here we are. So now we're ready to just about take these camshafts off. There is technically a proper loosening procedure for this. You should probably, if you're gonna be rebuilding an engine or whatever, you should probably follow that. This is the VVT control solenoid, if I'm not mistaken. And what this does is, it's gonna be hard to see, but inside this tube here, there's a series of passages which flow to this crank, or this camshaft pulley, or a gear, whatever you want to call it. And this controls the oil flow. So the solenoid will open and close, and it will direct oil flow into different parts of this so that it can change, advance, or retard the timing. So I'm just going to put this solenoid off to the side. Strangely enough, there is a little bit of debris on it, so that's kind of interesting, but I guess it's from the oil flow, and the debris flowed up through to it. So we'll put that there, and now we'll take these camshaft bearing bolts out here. So it should be a total of 8, 16, 18 bolts. So let's get started. These bolts are probably these look like 10mm bolts. Let's see if I'm right. Bada bing, bada boom, I got the award. It's a 10mm. So here we go. Alrighty, so here we are. We can start disassembling. So obviously here's the VVT control part here. So we'll take this off. I think that's the VVT control point. Anyways, I'll take this off, put this off to the side. Okay, so now we'll take the rest of them off. These bunch of little bearings. We'll keep them in order. You should really keep these things in order. So 2, 3, 4. So these 4 are for the left, for this bank here. So they will go on our storage like this, because that's how they came out. So now that we know that they're organized like that, just in case you ever put this. So next is these two. again, same way, kind of storage thing, so that we do not mess up the way they're supposed to go back on. There we go. Pop them on there like so. Perfect. Next, we can take these camshafts out. So we just have to pop them out of their spot. Man, stuck in there. Let's try this one. All right, well, we'll just give it a light tap with the mallet. Hopefully this will just pop it right out. Yep, not a problem. Here we go. There's our camshafts. Okay, so here we are. We're just removing these camshafts. I don't know how much of the last part you guys saw, but hopefully you heard my description, and hopefully that was adequate enough. So we'll just pop this guy out with a mallet as well. There we go. Pick it up. There we go. Another camshaft removed. Sweet. So now I got 2 camshafts here. And now we got what looks to be these things, which are the buckets. Or are they the buckets? Well, basically they're the tappet, the valve tappet. And so these this is what the camshaft actually spins on, or what the camshaft lobes actually hit to push the valves down. So these are just, and basically how they work, these are a very simple design, but it's so that these are designed to spin when the camshaft hits these, when the camshaft lobe hits them. And so they spin, so they create an even wear pattern all around. Because if they only hit in one spot and they didn't spin, then it would wear in the one spot only, and it wouldn't create an even wear pattern, and you'd have these wearing out more often than not, or they'd be wearing out more often. You'd have less lifetime with them. So yeah, so there's all those, and then just the head. So the head, it looks like it's held in by 10 Torx bolts, 10 like T70s or something. So let's see if I got something that can work on that. Here's my biggest Torx, T55. Let's see, and it's a T55. We're good. So let me throw an extension on this bad boy, and I'll start popping these out. So for when you're taking something apart, you want to basically do the opposite of the torquing pattern. So if the torque, you usually start from the outside, if I'm not mistaken, to remove something like this. Pretty tight. Break these by hand. So let me grab a ratchet. I got this breaker bar just to break them loose, and then we'll pull them out with the gun. So I need a 1/2 inch to 3/8. Put this on, start cracking. So we'll start with this one. There we go. These are probably torque to yield bolts, so they're very tight. Torque to yield bolts basically means that first you torque them to a specified foot poundage, and then after that you torque them a certain amount of degrees, which basically stretches the bolt out, and you're not really supposed to reuse these things. So yeah, there we go. So they're very tight right now, so we'll just crack them by hand and then pull them out with the gun. There we go. And we'll do this one, not very tight this side. That's quite odd. Crack this. Actually, we'll crack this guy. There we go. There we go. Not a problem. They're all cracked loose. You can just blast them out with the gun now. I think, I hope. Okay, clearly we didn't hit that one hard enough. There we go. And we got that one. There we go. So now we can should be as easy as the head off. Yep, what did I tell you? No problem, none at all. And that's what it looks like. One head removed. So we'll just pop this over here for now. Now we can look inside the pistons. Ooh, that's a nice chunky of silicone. Not sure if that was in there from before or just fell in there. And it looks like we got a bit of carbon on these cylinders. Not really super toast or anything like that, but not the greatest, obviously. And here you can see there's a little bit more chunks of metal and stuff. Metal dust, if you want to call it that. So let's take off the head gasket here for now. Oh man, it's kind of coming apart. There we go. So this is a multi-layer head gasket. It's got 3 different layers of metal and stuff combined together. And so the reason they have head gaskets like this is for expansion properties of different metals. Like say this is probably like a steel or cast block, and that's probably like an aluminum head or something. And this head gasket in between kind of helps control the expansion rate, because aluminum, since it's a softer metal and has different thermal properties, will expand faster than steel. And this gasket is how it helps keep the engine sealed with those different rates of expansion. So I'll put this off to the side. Kind of an interesting thing. And yeah, there's some oil passages there. some stuff in here. So yeah, so this is what it is so far. So now I think what I'll do is I think that's a pretty good place to end it for today. So we've kind of started disassembling this engine, and I think we'll finally figure out what's wrong with it in the next episode. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated and posted on what I find and stuff inside this engine. And yeah, so I'd like to thank you for watching. So make sure you like and subscribe the video if you liked it, and if you didn't like it, well, they removed the dislike feature, so that sucks. Just maybe leave like a comment or something, you know, something I can work on, make my videos better so you enjoy them more. And hopefully this will be a pretty interesting project.